MediaTek compares its newly announced Dimensity 9400 with the A18 Pro, claims up to a 19% performance boost in specific CPU, GPU tests. The newly announced Dimensity 9400 is the first Android smartphone SoC to be mass-produced on TSMC's latest 3nm in 3E process, putting it on par with Apple's A18 Pro in terms of lithography, but there are a ton of differences compared to last year's Dimensity 9300. With the CPU cluster and GPU getting notable upgrades, MediaTek took the opportunity to compare its latest release with the A18 Pro, showcasing how fast it is in two specific benchmarks that stress the chipset's two areas. The biggest performance difference is seen in the GPU side of things, where the Dimensity 9400's Immortalis G925 beats the A18 Pro's 6-core part by 19%. An image shared by Ben Geskin reveals the performance differences between the Dimensity 9400 and A18 Pro. Coming to the first benchmark, which is Geekbench 6, MediaTek reveals that its first 3nm SoC obtains a multi-core score of 9500. While the A18 Pro trails behind with 8,600 points. It is obvious why MediaTek did not bother to reveal the single-core differences, as that is an area that Apple has dominated for generations now. Based on the results shared by MediaTek, the Dimensity 9300 has a 10% lead. However, the scores shared the Taiwanese Fabulous semiconductor manufacturer seem to be a bit off, because based on an earlier comparison, in which a OnePlus executive claimed that the company is using a customized Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, the A18 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max is shown to have obtained 9,615 points in the multi-core test. This figure makes Apple's top-end silicon slightly over 1% faster, and while we can conclude this as a negligible lead, the fact is that the scores are higher. Perhaps MediaTek wanted to increase the stock of its Dimensity 9400 to showcase that the company had finally matched Apple's chip-making prowess. As for the GPU test, the Dimensity 9400 is shown to have obtained 2,500 points in the trademark Steel Nomad Lite benchmark, whereas the A18 Pro secured 2,100 points, resulting in a 19% delta. We cannot verify the GPU results at this time, but we will remind readers to treat this data with a pinch of salt. One of the biggest reasons for the performance uplift from the Dimensity 9400's side would be the increase of L3 cache by 50% compared to the Dimensity 9300. Additionally, the cache size of every core in the Dimensity 9400 has doubled, allowing each of them to handle more data, resulting in reduced response time, and lowered power consumption.